Good morning, everyone, and welcome to North High School. We are Team Frostbite. I'm Moss Louvan from Virtual Campus, and I'm a senior.
I'm Tatiana Hunter. I'm from Roosevelt High School, and I'm also a senior.
In 2023, we organized Team Frostbite in response to NASA's App Development Challenge. Over the course of several months, we spent weekends and after school, and we worked on an app that could be used to help NASA with their moon expeditions. Last April, we were invited to the Johnson Space Center in Houston, Texas. We were honored as one of the 5 finalists across the nation in NASA's App Development Challenge. Last year, one of our biggest goals to the challenge was to add more inclusivity to the team.
This year, we have increased diversity with not only race, but also gender, and also added another school, bringing us to a grand total of 11 members. By the end of the month, we will know if we're one of the top teams this year again. We were also honored to have received such outpouring support from this community and to show what can result from a public education. This morning, it is our honor to welcome all of you to North High School in the 2025 State of the Schools. Just as our work on Team Frostbite considered the future of scientific exploration, the event will share not only a look back at recent accomplishments at DMPS, but also a look ahead to improvements being considered for the future of Des Moines Public Schools. With that, please welcome today's first speaker, the chair of the Des Moines Public School Board, Jackie Norris.
Hello? Okay, bear with me because this is going to be interesting. Good morning, everyone. I'm Jackie Norris, and I'm proud to serve as the chair of the Des Moines School Board. I have the pleasure of working alongside an incredible group of directors, and I'd like to introduce them now. Vice Chair Skylar Mayberry Mays, and please stand, Maria Alonso, Anna Campos, Patrick Dix, Jenna Knox, and Kim Martirano. We are so lucky. We have such a great school board. Thank you all for being here today at the annual State of the Schools event. Today is a celebration. It's about reflecting on how far we've come and looking ahead to the future. First, how about a big round of applause for Team Frostbite for kicking off this morning's program? If that doesn't demonstrate the power of public schools and the promise and potential of our students, I don't know what will. And let's not forget, they often credit a lot of people who helped them along the way. I think about Jennifer Kicks and Jessica Nunez. They're examples of the teachers and staff we have across this district, and our students are really lucky. I also want to give a special thanks to Principal Manise and everyone from North High School for hosting us. Go Polar Bears. Before we go any further, I'd like to ask all elected officials in the room to please stand and be recognized. I see Carl and Mayor Bozen. Thank you so much for your service. There we go, there's Rob Johnson. So I'd like to take a moment to highlight just a few of the amazing initiatives from the past year. Let's start with pre-K. We've long known that pre-K works, but now DMPS has the longitudinal data to back it up. DMPS students in grades 1 through 6 who were enrolled in pre-K outperformed their peers by double digits in literacy and math, year over year. And as many of you know, this is a passion of our late school board member, Terry Caldwell Johnson. And the fight has not stopped. We are grateful Thank you. We are grateful to have the partnership at City Hall with our mayor and at the state capitol. When they see Dr. Roberts, they know what's on his agenda, pre-K. I also want to call out our building leadership at Hoover High School. They led an innovative campaign seeking to improve student connection to each other, to their teachers, and to the school community. By not allowing cell phones during classroom time was a great step to address the goal of creating an environment in the classroom where students can learn and teachers can teach. Thank you for the bold leadership. Look around the state. Many neighboring school districts are having that conversation, and Hoover led the way. Our vision for high standards in academics are showing results. All 5 comprehensive high schools were once again named to the University of Iowa's AP Index, recognizing their dedication to college prep coursework. Even more impressive, students across our high schools increased the number of A's and B's from 43% to 52%. That's an 8.5% jump. And did I mention we had 6 merit scholars? In 2024, the board set multi-year academic goals for our superintendent, including literacy proficiency and advancement by 4th grade, improved literacy for Black and Latinx middle school students, and a bold vision to enhance career readiness, which we'll hear a lot about today. We've also reaffirmed core commitments to keep DMPS aligned with our community's values. This is what our community believes is important. Supporting our early language learners, meeting the social and emotional needs of our students and staff, reflecting and respecting our community's diversity in staffing, providing a safe learning environment for our teachers and staff, and strengthening our connection with families and community partners. And we don't just set these priorities, we publicly monitor them, because you deserve to know how we're doing. Our goal isn't just to set targets, it's to hit them and keep improving. We must get better every day. So, at DMPS, we're pretty fortunate to have some of Iowa's and the nation's top educators. Anyone heard of Ann Minks before? Ann Minks, an ELL teacher at Hoover High School, was the 2024 Iowa Teacher of the Year. And she gets to travel the state sharing her experiences and insights on education. And in December, Blake Hammond, science teacher at Merrill Middle School, was named Regional Teacher of the Year, one of only 9 educators to receive this recognition. Their dedication and commitment reflects all 5,000 DMPS teachers and staff who work tirelessly to serve our students. That's why DMPS was named one of Iowa's best employers by Forbes magazine last year. Now, we all know that this work does not happen in isolation. DMPS is fortunate to have so many community partnerships that support our students and schools in meaningful ways. One of our longest standing partners, the Boys and Girls Club of Central Iowa, helped us expand Options Academy, our alternative high school diploma program now housed at Drake University. Our summer youth internship program, funded by a grant from the Iowa Workforce Development, provided hands-on experience in carpentry, marketing, aquascience, marine biology, agriculture, aviation, cybersecurity, and technology support, all within DMPS buildings. DMPS was also recently awarded a grant to launch a childcare credentialing program. Over 4 semesters, our students will combine classroom learning at Central Campus with hands-on experience at a DMPS pre-K center to earn a national certification in childcare. Our students will be leading the way in addressing childcare deserts in our community. Inside and outside the classroom, our students continue to shine. Hoover High School reached the Iowa State soccer finals for the first time, finishing as state runner-up, boys soccer. East High School's Riley Schillinger became the 2024 individual high school state bowling champion. Lincoln High School's softball team made history. They played and won the first ever sanctioned high school softball game at the Field of Dreams. And our unified DMPS girls wrestling team, which started just 3 years ago, sent 4 girls to state this year, chasing their first ever state championship. And behind every great team is a dedicated coach. And for those young women, and for those of you who know Coach Kendrick Burden, he has been a champion for girls for over a decade. And it was so fun for him to encourage these young women to see their potential and drive for state. This past year, we also welcomed the Caitlin Clark Foundation, and yes, Caitlin Clark. One of the first times I saw Dr. Roberts in shorts. Anybody ever see that outfit? And the Minnesota Vikings. We co-hosted the National Speech and Debate Tournament with the National Forensic League as well, for 2 years and going. So many of you are community partners in this room, and you weren't mentioned, and I hope you know how much you matter to us. So I would like a rousing round of applause for everybody and all the community partners that do so much for us. So, why is DMPS unique? DMPS is more than a school district. It's a global community. With students from over 100 nations, our classroom reflects a rich tapestry of cultures, perspectives, and experiences that shape and strengthen our schools. At DMPS, diversity isn't just a word or a statistic, it's our superpower. Our students live global citizenship every day. They see classmates fasting for Ramadan, protesting for gun safety, advocating for human rights, and sharing their native languages, from Karen to Swahili to Spanish. At DMPS, our students aren't just learners, they're global citizens, developing the cultural competency to compete in an interconnected world. That is our differentiator. But what makes DMPS truly special? It's the people. It's all of you. DMPS isn't just teachers and staff. It's all of us. It's parents, guardians, aunties, uncles, community volunteers, nonprofits, advocates, businesses, and philanthropists, all pouring into our students, both in and outside the classroom. Now, before I step aside and let Dr. Roberts talk more about the future, I want to highlight one more thing, because it's the foundation of what you're about to hear. In 2022 and 2023, the board did a lot of listening. We heard what you wanted in a superintendent, and we heard what your hopes, your dreams, and your aspirations were for your students, and what you wanted your students to know and be able to do. You made it very clear that you had high expectations for DMPS, and we were not hitting the mark. This past year, the board set a bold vision and mission for Des Moines schools. Our vision: we will prepare and inspire every DMPS student to achieve beyond all imagined possibilities, lead with the resiliency to navigate an ever-changing society, and leave a lasting impact on our community and our world. Our mission at DMPS, our pursuit of excellence for each student, recognizes the multiple pathways available for students to cultivate their own success with the support and partnership of our community. These statements reflect our deep commitment to ensuring every student has the opportunities, resources, and support they need to thrive in the workforce, in college, or in service to our country. This bold vision is embodied in the strategic plan put forth by Dr. Roberts and his team, and will drive our work for the next 10 years. So, we live at a time of chaos and uncertainty. Public education faces unprecedented challenges with year-over-year funding cuts, and yet the responsibilities of our school districts keep growing. The 30,836 human beings entrusted to DMPS care require more academic supports, emotional supports, than we have funds. We must never stop telling the story to our elected officials. We must be relentless and tell them they need to fund public schools. It is democracy's greatest equalizer. And yet, here we are. We have two choices as a district. We can hide under a rock and do nothing, or we can step up and own our destiny. And we picked the latter. We must go to bat for our kids at DMPS. Here locally, it's more critical than ever that we highlight the incredible return taxpayers in Des Moines are getting on their investment in our kids' education, while also finding efficiencies and innovating our approach. The first step is acknowledging that if we stay the same course, things will not improve. It's time to reimagine DMPS and revisit every assumption. I understand that change can feel unsettling. That's what change should feel like. It should feel uncomfortable. But without change, there is no progress. And without progress, there is no growth, no innovation, no brighter future for our children. We want every student in DMPS to walk tall and proud, knowing that we, our community, invested in them, that we believe in their potential, that we are invested in their success, and that we have their back. So let's reimagine education. Let's own our future. And now I'm going to turn it over to Dr. Roberts to tell you a little bit more about our plan. Thanks so much for being here today.
Good morning. The board chair talked a little bit about some of our successes and celebrations. So much for us to do, but yet so much that we are proud of. We are certainly living, serving, and leading during turbulent times. And you're still here. You're still thriving. We're still pushing through. But so often in the work that we do in public education is not one that is a solo journey. There is someone or some team that is behind you or beside you. I want you to take a second and indulge me in one of the practices, one of the investments that Des Moines Public Schools embarked upon, and that is our commitment to socio-emotional learning. Our commitment to ensure that every single student and every adult engages in tenets that will build capacity around social and self-awareness, social and emotional regulation, building strong relationships, making sound decisions, being grateful. There's someone in your life, or some two or three, who you should be grateful for. They've had your back in the last 24 hours, the last week, the last year. And because of how busy you are, sometimes we neglect to say thank you. So indulge me in our SEL activity this morning. Can you take out your cell phone, please, and hold it in your right hand? Even if you have a flip phone, we're not going to judge you. Take it out. And I want you to take only 30 seconds. No longer than 30 seconds, because I don't want you to engage in a conversation back and forth. And I want you to think about that one person who has had your back, either personally or professionally, and just text them or email them right now and say, thank you. 30 seconds, go. Five seconds. Don't make dinner plans for tonight. At some point, I would love to know who you text. I text my mom. and I just said thank you. You see, my mother, Verna Roberts, the beautiful queen on the screen, is the first champion of mine. You see, she's the first person that instilled in me the importance of value in education. During this Black History Month, February 2025, she is my Black history icon. Your presence here today tells me and tells us that you too want to be champions, not only for public education in general, but for Des Moines Public Schools. And for that, we thank you. You see, my mother tells me the story of when she was about 6.5 or 7 months pregnant with me. She went to a routine doctor's visit to her physician, Dr. Backus, and Dr. Backus examined her and told her with this challenging look in his face that she needed to report back to the hospital within the next 24 hours because he needed to induce labor. And she said, 6.5 to 7 months pregnant? He said, I'm telling you, Mrs. Roberts, if you don't, here are your two options. This son will be born with severe physical disabilities if you take him to full term. And even when I induce labor within the next 24 hours, it is highly likely, based on what I'm seeing, that he will never be able to walk. Some of you know my story. But my mother, because she wanted to listen to the physician, she went home and she called her two sisters, my aunts, and they came running over because of the news. And it is said that she packed her bags, and my aunts were sitting there waiting, and she went into her bedroom and went into her closet. You see, many of you have what we call prayer closets. When things are rough, you find a place to just go. And my aunt said that she was in there for 20 minutes, and then 30 minutes elapsed, and then 45, and she was not coming out. And then an hour later, she comes out, and she started to unpack the bag that was already sitting at the door. And they asked, what is going on? She said, I've changed my mind. He said, you cannot change your mind. She said, yes, I can. She said, you see, I prayed a little bit for clarity, and I believe that I need a second opinion. Because I don't want to have carried this child for this long and listen to one person's prediction of who he can become. He did get a second opinion. 22 years later, I received a full athletic scholarship to a Division I college. 27 years later, I was ranked 8th in the world in track and field. 28 years later, I competed in the largest stage as an Olympian with these same legs who a doctor predicted will never be able to move. My mother is my first champion and believer when others did not. When we think about this journey of reimagining education, it's more than just changing physical spaces. It's believing in every possibility and the potential of 30,826 young people who knock on our doors every single day. You see, while I know that championing young people begins way before birth, as Verna Roberts will tell you, here in Des Moines Public Schools, we are championing every single student from pre-K through grade 12. Our commitment to embark upon this journey is to ensure that they all benefit from an excellent and world-class education. But where did we start? A little less than a year ago, with the board's directive, the executive cabinet and I decided that we needed to find a North Star, create a framework, have some guidance around what it's going to take to embark upon this journey. And so we partnered with an external group and created a strategic plan for 5 years. We enlisted the voices of students, community members, leaders, teachers, and staff. And with an aggressive timeline, on January 14, 2025, we unveiled a 5-year strategic plan that has 5 pillars that you're looking at, 18 strategic objectives, 59 strategic actions, and 100 key results. Those items that we will continue to analyze, look at, to monitor every action that we take for the next 5 years to get us to reimagine Des Moines Public Schools. The 5 pillars, the first one, which is cultivating equity and excellence in teaching and learning, will have us look at a number of strategic actions that includes revisiting our multi-tiered support system, enlisting every single teacher and leader in our GLEAM, our cultural responsive framework, looking at creating digital literacy so that we can have our students prepared for the future. Pillar number 2, which is cultivating well-being, really speaks to our commitment to ensure that we are valuing not only the skills of the teachers and leaders who serve us, but we want to make sure that they are okay mentally, physically, and emotionally. For us to focus on cultivating well-being, we're going to look at strategic actions that includes this is 100% of our teachers and students feeling a sense of belonging. The third pillar, which is cultivating transformational talent, speaks volumes about the work that our talent and personnel team will embark upon with the support of everyone else. We are committed to not only recruiting and retaining strong teachers, but this work has started already with our talent and personnel team starting this school year with having filled 100% of our teacher and leader vacancies and about 98% of our certified staff. Unprecedented. Give them a round of applause. Our third pillar is, the fourth pillar I should say, is the one that I know you're here to talk about. But I'll jump to the fifth pillar, which is for us to cultivate community and collaboration. The oversimplification tells us that it takes a village. And we know that we cannot do this alone. And the Des Moines community has demonstrated to us how invested they are in Des Moines Public Schools. And we know that it's incumbent upon us to build and strengthen that relationship that we've already started. And so as we think about pillar number 5, we want to ensure that every single student receives the skills that prepare them to become more invested in and committed to the Des Moines community. Another strategic action that is grounded in pillar number 5 is for us to really revisit and take a hard look at our internal and external communications to make sure that we are closing all gaps around communications, but more importantly, we are getting better at telling our amazing Des Moines Public Schools story. Pillar number 4, organizational effectiveness, is our hard look at who we are and where we are. How can we ensure that we are being intentional about making connections to strengthen our vertical alignment between preschool and 12th grade? Pillar number 4 is about looking at our physical spaces, and you'll hear a lot more about that, to ensure that we are not only considering our occupational capacity, but our functional capacity. Do we have the right spaces where we're serving students? If we are going to reimagine education, we want to make sure that every single child in Des Moines Public Schools is served in classrooms and buildings that are refined and have a high level of 21st century sophistication. Reimagining education, this bold and ambitious plan aligns with our 5-year strategic plan. every single pillar, every strategic objective, strategic action, and key result will manifest itself in this plan. A reporter asked me recently if I thought that the goals that we've set in our Reimagining Education plan and strategic plan are achievable. Because they're bold and they are audacious. But the team will tell you that when we have had conversations over the last year and a half, I challenged them not to bring any idea or proposal to me if it's not going to cause me and them to lose sleep. Anything on the contrary means that we are just going to continue to perpetuate some of those pleasant sounding education rhetoric where we do the same thing over and over again and call it by a very different name, expecting a very different result for our students. We want to boldly reimagine education in and out of our classrooms, modernizing our infrastructure. Buildings that you're going to hear about, the average age of our buildings here in Des Moines Public Schools, 72 buildings, 64 schools, it's about 80 years old. How many of you have given the option to send your child to school will choose to send them to school that is 80 years old, a building that is 80 years old versus one that has been modernized in the last 10 years? Big goals that we have is that by 2030, the open enrollment out of Des Moines Public Schools will not exceed open enrollment in. We want to become the school district of choice for every single student who is eligible. We want to become the school district of choice for every educator who wants to serve children well. And while reimagining is in the future, we've already embarked upon this journey. The amazing team of teachers, leaders, and staff, many of whom are sitting here today, have already embraced ideas such as increasing access to preschool. You heard our board chair talk about how compelling the data is that makes our case about why universal access to preschool is not only a legislative priority, it is a moral imperative. And we're going to continue to champion this cause until our governor and legislators understand that this is not about politics, it's about the future of Iowa. We've already embarked upon this journey to ensure that we are looking at extending our grade level configuration where elementary schools will remain or keep their sixth graders. And we know that there are tremendous benefits to that. It gives sixth graders another opportunity, one more year, to become more mature, also to benefit from the care, love, and instruction of teachers with whom they are familiar. We started a pilot this year with Finley Elementary School, and next year we are going to extend that pilot with 4 additional schools: Hillis, Greenwood, South Union, and Edmonds. Thank you all for embarking upon this journey with us. What that does for us is allows us to really change our configuration of our middle schools. Our middle schools is one of the areas where we've lost sleep. Not because amazing things aren't happening there. We've made a lot of changes. We have a cadre of middle school principals who are rock stars, quite frankly. And they're led by an amazing director, both curriculum and operational, and they're doing amazing work right now. But our middle schools is where we've seen the most significant number of students leaving as they transition from 5th to 6th grade. We can turn the tide on that. And we are going to reconfigure middle schools, and you'll hear more about that as we talk about reimagining education. Signature schools is another critical part of reimagining education. And one of our signature school pursuits is that of our Montessori offerings. When you've looked at the history of Montessori education, from the time Maria Montessori brought the model forth in Italy in 1907, to now, we've seen the impact of Montessori education. Here in Iowa, Iowa's first public Montessori school, Coles, have led the way by having some of the highest academic and achievement scores in elementary and middle school of all of our schools for the last decade. Why not increase that access to a number of students in each region in Des Moines? And that's what we intended to do. This year, we've also expanded Montessori as a part of our pilot to Findlay Elementary, and we've also expanded that to Pleasant Hill Elementary. In the next 2 years, we want to make sure that we bring Montessori to every single region in Des Moines, because it has worked, will continue to work. And finally, developing Diploma Plus. Bold, ambitious, and audacious goal of ensuring that every single student who graduates from a Des Moines public school by 2030 walks across the stage not only with a diploma, but with a diploma plus something else that would ensure that they are truly prepared to successfully be enrolled, enlisted, and employed. A diploma plus an industry recognized certificate, a diploma plus preparation to contribute positively to Iowa's workforce. A diploma plus a seal of biliteracy. And that's not an exhaustive list, just some of the goals that we've set for ourselves. You're tired of listening to me because you want to know, as the kids would say, the T. I know. What are they doing? What is happening behind all of this? Is he stalling? I'm not. I wanted to give you a background and let you know that we are excited about this journey. A committee that was formed about 15 months ago, and so many of you in the community, almost 100 of you, raised your hand and said, we're in. And here in Des Moines Public Schools, I'm thankful for the teachers, leaders, and students who have been a part of the committee. Work that has been led by Amanda Miller, Dave Berger, and Matt Smith. Give them a round of applause. And with that said, I'm going to introduce to you a gentleman who's been serving as my 2IC, who has admitted that he said yes to the call of ensuring that we all lose sleep based on this ambitious goal, because our children, every one of them, deserve it. He thinks that he's as handsome as I am. And I promise you, when you see him, he and I did not call each other to act like twins today. Ladies and gentlemen, Associate Superintendent, the incomparable Matt Smith.
Good morning. Technical difficulty. One of the key indicators of superintendent and associate superintendent alignment is whether or not they can coordinate outfits without actually calling each other. So, Dr. Roberts, we are perfectly aligned, sir, and that is backed by research. I'm looking at you, and I'm realizing actually at this moment that today's the day. Today's the day. Today is the day that we transform Des Moines Public Schools in the city of Des Moines to be one that serves equitably and justly 30,000 students that are relying on us. Today's the day that it all changes for us. What an exciting time for us. Let's jump in. What is Reimagining Education? This is a 10-year plan to think differently about how we deliver a world-class education to each student in Des Moines Public Schools. DMPS is already making strides towards its strategic goals by improving teaching, programs, and student outcomes. It is time to accelerate those gains by investing in efficient, modern facilities that support every student's journey from pre-K to graduation, preparing graduates with the skills they need to to succeed in college, career, or the military. It's time to invest in spaces that serve as a purposeful oasis where students are encouraged to question, innovate, and create. This is a once-in-a-generation opportunity to embrace our strengths while emerging as a destination district of choice for all families in Des Moines. This vision allows DMPS to focus resources on meeting students' needs and keeping the amazing teachers and staff that we have in front of our kids. We reimagine education because we can no longer maintain spaces that do not meet the needs of our students, are outdated and inefficient, and do not serve our enrollment patterns. We reimagine education because we live, we work, and serve in a competitive, dynamic, and challenging environment. We reimagine education because we've experienced an enrollment decline of more than 2,000 students since 2017, which obviously impacts our funding. And we reimagine because our students deserve for us to have the fortitude to hope, to dream, and to innovate so that they can grow, each of them, to be the person that they were created to be. We reimagine because our children deserve better. In response to the community's feedback and the school board's direction, Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts directed his team to assemble a Reimagining Education committee of more than 80 students, parents, teachers, staff, and community members. They met dozens of times for more than a year, working with experts in school facility planning to study top school systems, review research, visit high-performing districts, and assess DMPS classrooms, both new and old. The committee anchored our work and our greatest strengths and our greatest opportunities. We believe keys to our success as a district and community are founded in immersive multicultural learning experiences, access to rigorous academics and world-class career and technical education, and whole child wraparound programs and supports. There are 5 key elements of the Reimagine Education plan, and it begins with increasing access to full-day preschool. Preschool provides a solid foundation to DMPS students' educational journey. Access to full-day preschool is a proven path to greater success in future learning. Reimagining Education prioritizes full-day preschool with a model where every student in the district has access to these essential services to build their cognitive, social, and emotional skills early. In our proposed change, we would increase access and reduce transportation barriers by providing pre-K services close to each Des Moines family at pre-K centers and all elementaries. In addition to this high-quality early childhood education, the Des Moines Public Schools will work with community partners to increase access to daycare options for working families throughout the district. In our current reality, we have 4 pre-K centers and 20 pre-K classrooms in elementary schools. In 10 years with this plan, DMPS will have 5 pre-K centers and more than 30 pre-K classrooms in elementary schools distributed throughout all regions of the district. Redesigning the middle school experience. The Des Moines Public Schools middle schools will serve as regional hubs for the best in academics and extracurriculars, where each student will begin to imagine their future and design a roadmap to success. To ease the transition between elementary and middle schools, the Des Moines Public Schools will reimagine our middle schools as vibrant, tight-knit hubs of hands-on exploration, integrating career and technical education, and interest-based learning so students can discover their passions. Learning in the middle schools will not just be confined to textbooks and whiteboards, but rather will be an immersive experience where theories meet practice. In our proposed change, I'm not even done yet. In our proposed change, Reimagine Education would build classrooms and change grade configurations to make this possible, with 6th grade moving to the elementary level. In our current reality, we have 10 middle schools serving 6th through 8th grades. Families who move their children out of DMPS most often do so after their 5th grade year, transitioning into 6th grade. In this plan, after 10 years, Des Moines Public Schools will have 5 middle schools serving 7th and 8th grade, and Des Moines Public Schools believes that the exciting learning environments at these schools will inspire families to choose them for their learning destination. Signature schools. Signature schools are innovative programs that DMPS families from any district region can choose for their children to immerse them in specific topics aligned with their interests that get them engaged in their learning. While there is no decision yet about what these might focus on in Des Moines, other districts have signature schools that focus on things like health sciences, the arts, communications, or STEM. The Des Moines Public Schools will seek feedback from students, families, staff, and community members when it chooses themes for the signature schools, and together we will design and build spaces that inspire hope and foster creativity. In our proposed change, we would repurpose existing buildings and build new spaces to make these exciting signature schools available to students in each geographic region of the district. This way, although families would be able to choose any of the signature schools for their children, all of them will have options closer to their homes. In our current reality, DMPS has schools and programs that could be considered signature schools. 2 schools offer Montessori education, and 3 schools offer international baccalaureate programs. In addition, Central Academy offers enrichment and accelerated learning opportunities, and Central Campus offers advanced career academies to inspire and prepare students for their future in career, in college, or their military goals. In 10 years with this plan, DMPS will have as many as 8 new program locations for signature schools, with 2 or 3 options available in each region, repurposing existing buildings and adding new specific program spaces. The Diploma Plus program will open up opportunities for students and prepare them for their futures. Every DMPS student will have a clear pathway to explore their interest, to prepare to enroll, their interest, and prepare to enroll, employ, or enlist after graduation. The learning will start in preschool with important life skills built throughout each grade level. By the time they graduate, students will have multiple opportunities to prepare for their future, resulting in special Diploma Plus distinctions and certificates. The proposed change would ensure we have universally accessible facilities where each DMPS student from pre-K through 12th grade can get inspiring experiences and opportunities to explore the possibilities for their future. DMPS has already begun work on Diploma Plus, incorporating it as a key component of Priority 1 in the new district strategic plan, cultivating equity and excellence through high-quality teaching and learning. In 10 years with this plan, Des Moines Public Schools will have the classrooms and flexible learning spaces it needs to make Diploma Plus opportunities available to each student throughout their learning journey from pre-K through graduation. That deserves a clap. And activities and clubs and athletics, we all know, increase interest and engagement in the life of school, which then improves student success. And our proposed change and our proposed plan, the Reimagining Education would include additions and renovations to make sure each student across the district has access to engaging extracurricular activities in high-quality facilities, including varsity-level competition stadiums, 8-lane competitive running tracks, and competition swimming pools. DMPS will prioritize improvements that benefit a wide range of students and a variety of activities. In our current reality, DMPS has 2 8-lane tracks, 1 turf practice field, 2 stadiums to serve the entire district, but the demand for these facilities is much higher. And on the other hand, the district has more swimming pools than it has students using them. In 10 years, the Des Moines Public Schools will have 6 competitive turf fields, 3 regional stadiums, 3 regional 8-lane competition tracks, and 3 regional swimming pools. To make all this possible, there are several key changes that are necessary. The first is a change to grade configurations. We will look to add pre-K centers, as well as move all elementary schools to adding pre-K for accessibility. Middle schools will become 7-8, high schools 9-12, and our signature programs will offer different grade configurations for each, including pre-K 8 and 7-12. This plan involves creating 3 distinct regions of the district: the Northwest, the Northeast, and the South, divided by the rivers, each with its own feeder pattern, leading to its own comprehensive high school. These regions and feeder patterns will increase neighborhoods' connections to their schools, and the Reimagining Education Committee focused on making sure students in each region would have access to high-quality learning spaces and engaging educational programs. The regional design serves as the structure by which we allocate and invest resources while building public-private partnerships that further advance our just cause of loving, supporting, and educating 30,000 students in Des Moines. The regional design serves as the platform whereby we intentionally allocate resources and supports to areas of the district that are most populated and in most need. We will look to develop locations for signature schools, creating as many as 8 new programs across our district, with 2 or 3 options available in each region, repurposing existing buildings and adding new program-specific spaces across the district. And this Reimagine Education plan creates hundreds of needed classrooms, providing an inspiring, modern education environment that encourages curiosity, exploration, and wonder. It's time our spaces cultivate the conditions for students to be excited and joyful about learning. This is the time to do that. And the plan also includes us gradually retiring or repurposing some buildings as the district completes construction on its new, more effective learning spaces added onto schools that are accessible to more families. This would allow DMPS to spend resources on better meeting students' needs and keeping its amazing teachers and staff instead of on the expensive maintenance of less efficient buildings. So it's time we jump into the details of the plan, yes? Let's begin in the Northeast. The Northeast region will offer a pre-K center at Finley Elementary School. The pre-K 6 configurations include Capitol View, Carver, Garton, Madison, Oak Park, Phillips, and Willard. The middle schools, 7th and 8th grade, in the Northeast would be Goodrell and Hyatt. The comprehensive school will be East High School in the Northeast, supported by flagship signature schools at Brubaker Hoyt, slated right now as a pre-K 12, North as a 7th through 12th grade signature program, and Pleasant Hill as a pre-K through 8 signature program. The retired buildings of Cattell, Harding, McKee, and Stowe slated to retire in FY 2033 and 2032. This is an investment in a new dawning in Des Moines Public Schools. This is how we get this done. We don't allow ourselves to think about what was, but we leap forward with fortitude to talk about what will be and what can be. The details for the Northwest region. The pre-K centers, Jesse Franklin Taylor and Woodlawn. The pre-K through 6 grade configurations include Edmonds, Greenwood, Hannawalt, Hillis, King, Monroe, Perkins, Moore, Samuelson, and Windsor. The middle school would be Merrill at 7th and 8th grade. The comprehensive high school would be Roosevelt. The flagship signature programs would be housed at Coles Montessori, Meredith and Hoover, a 7th through 12th grade campus, and Moulton would be converted to a pre-K through 8th grade center. Repurposed buildings would be Downtown School and Hubble for secondary programming and high school programming. The retired buildings would be Callanan and Walnut Street in FY 36 and FY 30, respectively. And now the details for the South region. The pre-K centers would be Mitchell and Studebaker. The elementary schools serving pre-K through 6th grade, Jefferson, McKinley, Park Avenue, Riverwoods, Lovejoy, McCombs, Morris, South Union, and Wright. The 7th and 8th grade middle school campuses would be Brody and Weeks. The proposed signature school, the comprehensive high school, would be Lincoln High School, again supported by flagship signature programs at Jackson and Kurtz. Jackson would become a pre-K through 8th grade signature school, and we would rebuild Kurtz to serve as a 7th through 12th grade signature program. The retired building would be Howe, slated for FY 2033. District facilities located throughout each of the regions. We would continue to maintain and serve students out of Central Academy, Central Campus, and Ruby Van Meter, and the agronomy greenhouse, aviation. We've also got multiple district facilities of which we will look to consolidate. The district office located at 2100 Fleur will close, and staff will be repurposed and removed and moved to new locations. It is critically important in Des Moines Public Schools that a central office is not located in isolation, but rather is located in facilities where we are serving kids. We will no longer have an isolated building. To be removed from where kids and teachers are learning and teaching is to be removed from the very magic that we actually show up for every single day. And before I turn it over to Dr. Roberts to talk about the next steps, I would be remiss if I did not talk about what this means to our kids, to our families, and to our staff. We cannot allow ourselves to maintain a status quo environment. We cannot allow ourselves to continue to do what we're doing in just fewer facilities. We must be bold. We must be brave at a time when everybody tells us that we shouldn't, and we must leap forward to create the miracles. The miracle is actually in the journey. The miracle is actually in the people that are sitting in the seats and the folks that are watching at home and the 30,000 students that we serve. That is where the miracle takes place. We can get this done if we are courageous enough and if we are willing to pay the cost and the price of sacrifice to leap into a future that our students deserve. We can make that happen, and we can make that happen together.
Thank you, Matt Smith. The process, what's next? So we unveiled the plan on January 21st. Today we are sharing more details. Matt did a phenomenal job working in collaboration with his team to unpack in a granular way where we're going to be for the next 10 years, I think it's important for us to recognize that we've given ourselves a long runway. We're not making any physical space changes, retirements, consolidations for another year. The first will happen in 2 years, and then we have given ourselves a runway the next 5 to 10, if you may. We are going to engage in a number of community meetings. As a matter of fact, in the coming weeks, we will have 19 opportunities throughout Des Moines so that we can hear your voices, get input from each and every one of you. Because your perspective, what you're asking for, you heard the board chair talk earlier about wanting to make sure that we value your dreams and desires. We want to hear from you so we can finalize the plan. And while we've embarked upon this journey already and started some of the programs, we were looking at our current budget reality. We were tapping into the generosity of our philanthropic community. We've seen the mayor and city council invest in our preschools. This change, this bold and audacious plan is going to require us to move towards the polls in 2025 for a bond referendum. We need you again and again and again for us to make this a reality. This is a plan that is going to serve students who are currently enrolled and serve students for the next 50 years or so in an amazing way. So what can you do? On our website, we have a Reimagining Education link. You will continue to see updates there. Please remember to check it out. We want you to complete a survey online as we continue to value your voices, your perspective, and your input. And now, I'll give you permission to take your phones out again, get the QR code, because next year, when you sit in these spaces, like with every other Des Moines Public Schools classroom, during instructional time, we're going to discourage you from having access to your phones. So let's model that today. Take your QR code out and you can definitely get access to this. Got it? If you don't, as we say in the black churches, ask a friend later on. They'll give it to you. What is the impact of reimagining education overall? Matt talked a lot about it, but ultimately this is what it is. How do we create millions of opportunities for each and every student to win? Except Amaya. She's never going to have this happen again. No, but seriously, that's why the board is pushing our executive cabinet, every single adult in the district, to be bold, to be audacious, because our children truly deserve it. Thank you for being champions of Des Moines Public Schools. Thank you for being champions of public education during these turbulent times. Now I believe we'll have Ms. Amanda Lewis, who will join us on stage.
Robert. We're going to continue with the question and answer section of our program. If I can ask my podcast guests to come up to the stage. Thank you. We have the Become Here project, a Des Moines Public Schools podcast. We started it about a year ago, and each state of the schools we record live. So we're going to do that this morning and get some questions answered that have been submitted about reimagining education. And so we will continue the conversation as everyone joins us. All right, I'm going to ask for your help in just a minute because the people who are listening to the podcast, they're just joining now. So they can't see us, they can only hear us. I'm going to ask for your help in just a second. Everybody ready? Kyle, producer, ready? Awesome. All right. Welcome to the Become Here Project, a Des Moines Public Schools podcast. This is a special episode because we are on location at North High School for the 2025 State of the Schools in front of a live studio audience. Audience, can you help me out and make some noise? Woo! Thank you very much. We are joined today by some special guests to discuss the Reimagining Education plan presented just a few moments ago. Superintendent Dr. Ian Roberts, Des Moines Mayor Connie Boesen, and Reimagining Education Committee members Doug Smith with DMEA and Christopher Ramirez, senior at East High School. Welcome to you all. And I have some special help today. Thank you so much. He's well known for his work on Team Frostbite, so you probably already know him. Oh yeah. Shah Pasifik Mukisa. Thank you so much for being my co-host today.
No problem.
I appreciate that. All right, would you like to start?
Yes, so to introduce myself, my name is Sean Pacific Mukiza. I'm currently a senior here at North High School and attend Central Academy and have attended Central Campus in previous years. And a little bit of my background is I came to America very young as a refugee from Tanzania, and I've been in DMPS throughout my entire educational journey. And some of my interests lies in programming, health, fitness, photography, and videography, all of which are interests that I've been able to partake in and participate in within DMPS one way or another. And to get into our first question, it's for you, Dr. Roberts. This is a question submitted by a DMPS parent. They stated, the DMPS model should be the district everyone wants to be in. Will Reimagining Education help us achieve that, and how?
Thank you, Shah Pacific. So absolutely, to the parent who posed the question, and to every parent, that's the goal that we have, right? We want to be able to create a school system with every single school from grades pre-K through 12, where we're not only offering a quality and world-class education, but a district that has schools where every single student, every teacher, every leader feels a sense of belonging. And while there's so much work that we're doing right now to get to that place, I believe that with Reimagining Education, we will make this a reality.
Our second question is for Mayor Boesen. You graduated from East High School, attended DMAC and Grandview University before working in private business and serving on the DMPS School Board, Des Moines City Council, and now as mayor. You've seen a lot of change in Des Moines.
Yes, I have.
As a city, are we prepared now for a plan as robust as Reimagining Education?
Oh, definitely we are. I think we know that we need to change. We're looking forward to working with the district on what they go forward with. And we are even embarking too on some changes on, we just saw a bold plan for housing initiatives yesterday. I think that we all, we're the old city, the older city, and we need to repurpose everything that we're doing and be bold and big. We have a great city, and I got into this really because of schools. My elected, as I said, we served 14 years on the school board. We had to make changes, and a lot of it was just difficult changes because of budget. So I think looking at it from a standpoint of how can we do it different, how can we re-envision, because the average age, like we said, now when I was doing the school sales tax, it was 60 years. Now you're talking 20-some more years, but we have to make sure that we have the schools that people want their students or their children to go to, and whatever we can do from a city, because I've always believed that strong schools make strong cities, and strong cities make strong schools. So we're intertwined together, and however we want to proceed to make this the best city it can be, we need to work together.
Thank you.
And Mr. Smith, you were on the committee. How are teachers' needs and desires represented in the process of developing Reimagining Education?
From the forefront of everything that we've done has been student learning conditions and staff working conditions. So it's not either, it's and. And I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to all of the educators doing conferences today that aren't able to join us, because everything we do is centered on that student learning and staff experience, because we know what we're up against, but we believe in our story and what we've done and the leaders and community members that we have. And so that's where it's at. That's the secret sauce. But it starts with everything in the classroom, students and staff. And there's been ample educator voice in this process from the very beginning, and we're very proud to be a partner in all of this work.
Mr. Ramirez, thank you for serving on the Reimagining Education Committee and representing student interests. We appreciate it. Do you think this plan will encourage students to engage and stay engaged in school?
Well, absolutely. I have the immense privilege to serve on this wonderful committee. And when we first started meeting around 14 months ago, we were divided within 4 subcommittees: finance, facilities, I believe operations, I could be mistaken, and the one that I helped lead, which was the student experience. And so when we came to meet as a whole committee, one of our main priorities was to ensure that the student experience was not in any way jeopardized. It is the foundation of why we want to reimagine education here. And so when it comes to laying the groundwork with our pre-K option and our legislative agenda there, as our research has shown, having kids seeing and access early educational experiences will likely lead to a better life, not just to better graduations, and also reimagining our middle school experience and our current comprehensive high schools and signature schools and our current facilities. It will lead to better outcomes, as we have seen. And most importantly, with this current situation, our current problem with our student enrollments, I'd like to draw your guys' attention to the Japanese character for crisis, for which it composes of 2 symbols, one for danger and risk, and the other for opportunity. Indeed, crises have always offered opportunities, and we are set to embrace that.
Thank you.
All right, and Dr. Roberts. I've had a lot of great teachers from elementary to middle school to high school. What will reimagining education mean for not only their jobs, but the other staff who support the students in buildings that will undergo changes throughout this process?
Yeah, thank you. You know, in pre-K-12 education, we almost talk about and sermonize this idea that every adult should be student-centered. And while I value that, I am a school system leader who unapologetically would say that I'm also adult-centered. And so what it means for us, I want to make the connection to the third of 5 pillars in our strategic plan, and that is cultivating transformative talent. We want to make sure that every single teacher, every educator, every teacher candidate who is still completing their teacher education program in any of Iowa's or any university in this country, look at and see Des Moines Public Schools as the destination for them to come and work and serve. While our talented personnel team are committed to ensuring that we are building and strengthening partnerships at universities, not just locally, but historically Black colleges and universities, we want to make sure that we are being intentional to recruit teachers, I should say, who share the identity with all of our students. And one way for us to do that is to create an environment that really anchors and prioritizes belonging. So I believe that the goal that we have, to increase not only teachers of color, but teachers who are strong, talented, and who feel a sense of belonging by 2030 will become a reality.
And a follow-up question to that is, how do you plan to provide stability for staff, students, and families while these challenges are underway, especially if the schools are in the process of being retired?
Yeah, you know, that question is so timely as we think about providing stability to teachers and staff during what I consider to be turbulent times. And it's not just because of buildings that are going to be retired. You know, we're going to continue to work with our community partners and certainly with the board to make sure that we are taking care of every single adult who serve our students now, even as we reimagine education. What is of utmost importance to me during this time, though, is to ensure that we are creating safe spaces for our teachers. Public education is under attack everywhere from the White House to the local state capitol. And it's incumbent upon me as superintendent and my executive cabinet to make sure that we are essentially serving as the offensive line for every teacher, every staff, and every leader. We have to block the nonsense and distractions that comes their way so that they can be their best selves.
Mayor Bozen, how does Reimagining Education align with the city's goals for workforce development and economic growth?
I think it's definitely aligned. People come to this community for an educated workforce, and if we can provide that for them, they're more willing to maybe start a company or bring their company into the city. And we're always looking for opportunity, and it really is all, again, it's also entwined together that whatever we can do to make sure we have the educated workforce for the future of where we're going and what could be. And like I've said, if we can come up with the newest, next best thing from, we have a team that could come back and maybe start a business and then just develop that and grow into who knows what it could be. So I think the opportunity is there, but I think it all starts really with a well-educated workforce. That's why companies come to Des Moines. They want to have the people that can do the work that they need them to do, which in twine then becomes an economic development, because then the buildings are being built, offices are being taken up, and it really is so intertwined that whatever we can do to continue that.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Smith, what excites and concerns you the most about this up-and-coming plan?
Well, I think it's how we move forward, and transparency is the key word, because we need to be transparent, and we know from our adult learning best practices that it's not often the what, but it's the how we deliver the what. And I believe that the team that has been working on this project for now and the 10-year commitment, it's a 10-year marathon, it's not a sprint, and it's just knowing that we're in this together and to hold people accountable, the team accountable, the leadership accountable, and we need to make sure and interact with our community. And whether that's our parents, our community stakeholders, Mayor Bozen and the council, whether it's county officials or just our school board, we're all in this together, and we need to be accountable and transparent and lead with the how before the what, and just be very transparent. Because we've done this before. Those of us like Connie and I that have been around for a while, we did this once and we've learned from that, and we're gonna double down and do it even better this time and bigger, because as Matt has shared, this is a once in a generational opportunity. And as Dr. Roberts has led and shared with us, if this doesn't keep us up at night, something's wrong. And it has kept many of us on the committee up at night and sharing conversations, because it all matters what goes on in the classroom and how we offer that to students. And it starts in preschool. Everything we do is, I'm a proud product of preschool. It starts at preschool. And as you see, this is very heavily started there. And we want our students in Des Moines Public Schools for all 14 years of their educational journey. There's no mistake that the three of us here are Scarlets.
That's
and,
right.
I was very, I told
I think
Christopher,
it's just coincidental.
I said, you're not an alumni yet, but you will understand the power of that East High alumni commitment, and our motto is for the service of humanity. And we live that every day. And so we may be in North, and with some of our other friends in the room, we truly are East High Scarlets through and through. So.
Yes, we are.
All right, well, future East High alumni, do you know if high school athletics, activities, and the arts will be available just at the 3 regional high schools, or will they all be available throughout the district?
Well, regardless if it's a signature school or a comprehensive high school, our main goal was to ensure that the student experience when it comes to extracurriculars, clubs, sports, and athletics were not diminished in any way. So yes, we understood that it was an essential part of the student experience. My own involvement when it comes to within student government, theater, speech and debate, varsity tennis, I think brings upon within this committee a unique perspective on that importance. The committee recognizes that participation within these types of after-school activities overall is critical for student engagement and overall well-being. They're more likely to pass their classes and graduate beyond that. And we want to ensure that our students across the district have access to state-of-the-art facilities when it comes to the extracurricular activities. So regardless if in the south, northwest, and or east. Sorry. Yes. So when it comes to our current facilities, no offense, Mr. Roberts, some of our facilities are let's just say a bit old.
Tired?
No disagreement, Chris.
Yes. And we need to upgrade these facilities for the students of today and of tomorrow. As part of the work on this committee, I believe you were there, Doug, we went to visit some of our oldest elementary schools, Greenwood, and see some of our more modern facilities like Edmonds. And then we saw competitors when it came to Waukee and their facilities. And, well, we have an issue, guys. We need facilities that are designed for the 21st century, not the last century. And regardless with whatever school you attend, we're gonna upgrade those facilities there.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez.
All right, Dr. Roberts, what specific strategies will be used to reach non-English speaking families and ensure their voices are heard as we reimagine education?
Thank you. So, we recognize that while that has been an area of growth for us over the years, it's important that we reimagine how we are responding to the needs of families. And there are three things that comes to mind. One, we have to make sure that there's some intentionality around how we are reaching every single student, every family. We have students, again, who come to us from more than 100 different countries, more than 83 different languages spoken. And we want to make sure that each and every one of those languages, parents will be able to have access to readily available information through all of our platforms. We are currently piloting one platform that we intend to bring to the board as a recommendation for the next school year that would allow for interpretive services and interpretation services. Additionally, some of the work we've started this year, each month the board is ensure that I am spending time visiting different communities to have what I call superintendent's coffee chats, and these are intended to make sure that we improve access, right, to what is happening in the district to all of our families. And thirdly, and probably of utmost importance, is we want to make sure that we are spending an inordinate amount of time hiring staff who, at the simplest level, can speak the language and communicate with all of our families. It's the one way we'll be able to not only break down communication barriers, but show each and every one of those families that regardless of their background, identity, immigration status, or nationality, we value them.
Thank you.
This one was submitted by quite a few people, actually. How will we handle the increased number of students who need transportation across the district or to their nearest school?
Yeah, thank you. So, Amanda, that's a question that we have reviewed, certainly working in partnership with those individuals who are preparing our bus routes. Our Director of Transportation, Sam Sanderson, and our operations team are constantly reviewing the transportation needs that we have. And we have demonstrated that we have a commitment to remove every barrier that will sort of reduce access from pre-K through 12. Going into the next school year, for example, for the very first time, we're building on a pilot we started this year. We are offering transportation actually to preschoolers, right? So imagine the littles riding in buses, yep. And so that's just a pilot that we plan to expand upon next year. And even as we move towards the plan over the next 10 years for signature schools and having 3 regions, we are going to come to the board, and I know the board actually has an appetite to support this initiative, to invest in transportation to remove barriers. So we're committed to that. Whether it's transportation that we're offering by ourselves or looking at partnering with vendors to make sure that families have access.
Thank you.
Okay, and my last question is, how do programs and schools like All Points Academy, Options Academy, Virtual Campus fit into Reimagining Education plan?
They are critical, right? We are a school district that believes in giving every single student who knock on our doors multiple chances to succeed and get it right. We know that, since the 1965 elementary and secondary education plan came about, we continue in K-12 education to do the very same things, take the same actions, expecting to meet the needs of all students. Well, we clearly are failing. With a 72% graduation rate, it tells each and every one of us that we have to get better at this. The reason that we have a 72% graduation rate is because we've not necessarily offered instructional programs, created a sense of belonging to meet the needs of every student. So when we think about All Points Academy, Options Academy, the work that they're doing right now under the leadership of those teachers and leaders, phenomenal. Case in point, in the class of 2025 out of the Options Academy, graduated 127 students, most of whom people would have characterized as being at risk. Well, we don't use that terminology because it's deficit language. We think of those students as at promise, because there's a promise for each and every one of their lives. Thank you.
Well, we are out of time, but not out of questions. We'll post answers to as many as possible on the Reimagining Education website, reimagine.dmschools.org. You're also going to find the community survey and about 20 opportunities to share your thoughts at upcoming community forums. That's reimagine.dmschools.org. Dr. Roberts, we will give you the final word.
Thank you, Madam. May I stand just because this is a moment I want to express gratitude. Thanks to each and every one of you. Thank you for being amazing DMPS students, showing the world what a Des Moines Public School soon-to-be graduate looks like, sounds like. Let's give it up for our students. And for those of you who took the time to come here today, and for everyone watching online, Des Moines Public Schools is on the move. We are committed to reimagining education for every student who knocks on our doors, and for those who are not even of age yet. There's a Greek proverb that says, a society or community grows strong when men and women plant trees under whose shades they know they'll never be able to sit. Madam Governor, legislators on every side of the aisle, and to our amazing Department of Education partners, many of whom are here, who've done a phenomenal job of supporting us in the last 2 years. Let's prioritize people over politics, policies, protocols, and past practices. In order for us to get back to that place of preeminence that Iowa public school education once had in the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, we need you. Des Moines Public Schools value your partnership, and it is our hope and desire that you demonstrate your commitment to ensuring that we get back to that place of preeminence by continuing to build on this partnership. I've had many conversations with a lot of you, and I'm hopeful that the words that you've shared and the commitment you've espoused will manifest themselves in actions. Together, we can do this. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Dr. Roberts, Mayor Bozeman, Doug Smith, and Christopher Ramirez, and a special thank you to my co-host, Shah Pacifique Mukisa. And thank you for joining us on location for this episode of the Become Here Project, a Des Moines Public Schools podcast. On behalf of the communications team here at DMPS, we wish you a great rest of your day. I would say you have a good shot. Great job, guys. Well, thank you.